Hello, my friend. Welcome to your sleep story. My name is Stephen Dalton. I'm an Irish storyteller, and it's my great privilege to be the voice that you listen to as you go to sleep tonight. Tonight's story takes you to a place that when I saw the pictures of it, I couldn't quite believe it existed. It is a place known as Bagan, an ancient city filled with temples that reside in a vast plain covered in trees. To see it is to see something extraordinary, and tonight you will visit it and also see it from above in a hot air balloon. One small thing, if you'd like to support my work and see my monthly update videos, you can do so on Patreon. The link is below this video. Okay, let's do the relaxation session now, which will take a few minutes before tonight's sleep story. I'm going to count down from 10 to 1, and as I do, allow yourself to let go more and more. 10. Feel the support of the bed beneath you, or the floor, or whatever surface you lie on tonight. And beneath all of that, feel the support of the earth, that deep grounding support, that constant support, that unchanging, reassuring support that comes from our home, the earth. And as you become aware of it, see if you can release a little more. Let go a little more. 9. Feel into your body now. Where are you still holding? Where do you feel tension? Perhaps you feel pain. Maybe it's in your toes or your feet. Maybe it's in your lower legs. Maybe your thighs or your belly. Maybe you're holding in your chest. Or maybe you're like me and you hold too much tension in your hands or your face. And as you lie here now, and as you become aware of this tension or holding on, notice the release that comes with awareness. Just let go now. 8. You are safe. Allow my voice to be a friend tonight, to be a gentle guide. Know that my voice will only ever take you to safe places. See if you can find the peace in that fact. See if you can find the trust. See if you can notice that when we feel safe, we can become curious, and we can feel a little light of joy within our hearts as we move closer and closer to sleep. 7. The day is done. Whatever has been, and whatever will be, will be. Whatever thoughts arrive with you tonight, just notice them for what they are. Thoughts, a part of being human, but not you. You are not your thoughts. You don't have to follow them. They don't have to lead your emotions. And so if and when they come, and they will, let them float away now, like leaves on a moonlit river, or clouds passing by through a starlit sky. 6. This is your moment. This is your time. Allow that fact to enable you to settle in now, to feel cozy now, to feel the warmth and joy of the ability to just lie here and hear a cozy story. 5. Peace lives within you. It is always there. It is just waiting to be found, waiting to be felt. And so see if you can find that peace within you tonight. 4. Perhaps allow a little gratitude now. Gratitude for the simple things. The shelter you have tonight. The breath in your body. 3. Begin to engage with your imagination now. Begin to see a place unlike anywhere else on earth. A place filled with beautiful temples and great grand green trees. A place far away from all that you know. 2. Checking in with your body one more time now. Your body has worked hard for you today. It's time to give it rest. And 1. completely letting go now as I tell you tonight's sleep story. It begins softly in the pale hush before the sun rises. That moment when the world seems to hold its breath. You are nestled on a small wooden boat, moored along the quiet edge of the Irrawaddy River, and you are wrapped in a woven blanket that still smells faintly of wood smoke and sandalwood. The air is cool, almost cool enough to see your breath, and a soft mist drapes itself across the surface of the water like a sleeping veil. All around you, the land of Bagan lies wrapped in fog, a dreamy place where over 2,000 ancient temples rise from the earth. Their silhouettes are just beginning to reveal themselves. Dark spires and rounded stupas, cutting gentle shapes into the fog, as though they themselves are stirring awake. Your boat rocks gently beneath you, the softest rhythm, like a cradle. From the back of the boat, an elderly man in a long yi, the traditional Burmese cloth worn around the waist, smiles and offers you a cup of warm tea. His movements are unhurried, graceful, as if in harmony with the river. You nod in gratitude and bring the cup to your lips. The tea tastes of ginger and earth, warming you from within. Without a word, he takes the long wooden paddle resting by his side and begins to steer you gently away from the riverbank. The paddle dips into the water with a quiet schloop, sending out ripples that fade into the fog. Slowly, steadily, the boat glides forward, and you breathe in the river air, full of dew, memory, and the soft scent of tamarind trees along the shore. Bagan is an ancient place. It was once the heart of a great kingdom between the 9th and 13th centuries. It flourished as the spiritual and cultural center of Myanmar, then known as the Bagan Kingdom. kings and monks built thousands upon thousands of temples here, each a prayer carved in stone, meant to outlast time itself. Some say these temples were offerings built as acts of merit to earn a better rebirth. Others say they were maps of the universe, reminders that the world is both fleeting and infinite. And now, centuries later, they remain, weathered, quiet, watching over the plains like old friends of the wind and stars. The boatman hums a melody under his breath, soft and low, perhaps a lullaby or a song of the river. His presence is grounding, like a tree with deep roots. He gestures ahead to where a faint trail disappears into a low hill. Above it, through the rising mist, you can see the faint glimmer of golden rooftops, a hidden temple, waiting in stillness. You continue paddling together, slow and silent, as the fog begins to lift in silvery strands. The light changes. First, pearl grey, then the softest pink. As the sun begins to rise behind the hills, it filters through the mist and glints off the water, illuminating each ripple. Far off, you hear the distant chime of a temple bell. It rings once, then again, a pure, resonant sound that seems to echo both across the water and deep within you. A few birds lift from the trees, their wings cutting through the silence. And here, on this river, in this moment, there is no rush, no need, only the breath of the earth, the rhythm of the water, and the slow unfolding of day. You close your eyes for a moment and feel the gentle pull of something older than words, the kind of remembering, not of facts or names, but of presence, of how it feels to belong quietly to the world. The boat comes to a stop near the base of the hill, where moss-covered steps lead upward, hidden beneath flowering trees. The mist is thinner here, drifting like gauze between branches. You step out of the boat with bare feet, touching the damp earth, feeling the morning air wrap around you. Ahead, the hill temple waits, patient, quiet, wrapped in incense smoke, a place where time walks slowly. And so, with the gentle river behind you, and the sun just beginning to rise, you begin the quiet climb upward. The stone steps beneath your feet are cool and dappled with dew. Each one is worn smooth by time, by generations of quiet footsteps, of pilgrims and monks walking barefoot in silence. The hill rises gently, winding through a grove of tamarind and fig trees, their wide leaves catching drops of morning mist and letting them fall slowly, like tiny offerings to the earth. You walk slowly, unrushed, your breath in rhythm with the path. Somewhere ahead, a wind chime jingles softly, not from metal, but from delicate bits of glass and bamboo, catching the early sunlight as they move in the breeze. Birdsong greets the morning, high fluting calls from trees overhead. Every now and then, you hear the dry rustle of leaves and the sound of your own feet on stone. Everything feels alive and yet completely at peace. At the top of the path, just before the summit, you come upon the entrance to the temple, small and modest from the outside, built from honey-colored stone, its edges softened by time. Moss creeps along the base, and flowers bloom from the cracks in the old walls, as if the temple is exhaling blossoms. A low stone arch invites you in. You step through it slowly, ducking slightly, and are met by a wave of warm golden air. Inside, the space opens up, and silence takes on a presence of its own. You stand in a chamber lit by dozens of tiny oil lamps, their flames flickering softly, casting shadows that dance across the ancient walls. In the center, a golden Buddha sits in quiet meditation. His expression is serene, almost smiling, not with joy or amusement, but with understanding. His eyes, half closed, seem to rest both inward and outward, as if seeing the world not just as it is, but as it truly could be. The scent of incense lingers, sandalwood, jasmine, and something older you can't quite name. You feel it settle around your shoulders like a shawl. A monk appears from a shadowed alcove, his robes the color of sunset, his head shaved, his eyes warm and clear. He greets you with a nod and gestures toward a low cushion near the statue. "You've arrived with the morning," he says. "The world is still between breaths. It is a good time to sit." You do. The cushion is firm but comfortable. You cross your legs gently, letting your hands rest in your lap. The monk sits nearby, not watching you, not teaching, simply being. And in his stillness, something inside you begins to soften too. He speaks again, not as instruction, but as invitation. Close the eyes, he says, and let the body arrive. So you do. And in the darkness behind your lids, the tempo seems to grow even quieter. You feel your breath, not forced or deepened, just noticed. You feel the coolness of the air as it enters, the warmth as it leaves. You notice your shoulders, your spine, the gentle weight of your hands. You notice the way the ground supports you, without asking anything in return. The monk's voice, barely above a whisper, continues. In this land, we follow the path of the Buddha, not a god, but a teacher, one who awoke. He taught that suffering is part of life, but so is peace, so is presence. When the mind no longer clings, it becomes light, like the mist rising from the earth. As you sit, listening, breathing, being, you begin to feel that lightness, not dramatic, not sudden, just a subtle loosening, a small kindness. At some point, the monk falls silent again, and the quiet is deeper than before. And in that silence, your thoughts soften. Even your own name begins to feel distant. You don't know how long you sit like this. 10 minutes, an hour. It doesn't matter. Because time up here above the plains of Bagan feels like a circle. Breath. When you finally open your eyes again, the mist outside has lifted a little. The light has deepened to gold, and in your body there is a sense of space. The monk smiles at you and bows, and you bow back, not with effort, but with something quiet and true. Outside, the path leads on through trees toward the ancient city below, toward stories and silence, stone and sky. And so you rise and begin to walk again. The path winds gently downhill, leading you away from the quiet temple and back into the waking world. But something inside you still carries the silence. As you walk, the mist lifts further, revealing the vast golden plain of Bagan, beneath a sky the color of honey. All around you, a sight that is almost unimaginable is given form. Temples rise from the earth. Some are grand and towering, others no larger than a garden shed. But each one seems to hum with presence, with centuries of prayers and soft-footed monks passing through on their way to nowhere in particular. Your feet follow an old dirt path lined with acacia trees. Their branches stretch wide, and here and there goats carts wander lazily, their bells jingling. You pass by the Ananda temple, one of the oldest and most beautiful in Bagan. Its white stone glows faintly in the morning sun, and its golden spire reaches upward. Inside, monks chant in deep voices. A small group of children walks by, barefoot and laughing, their faces streaked with the naka, the soft, yellowish white paste made from ground tree bark, worn for beauty and protection from the sun. Farther along, you find a tiny tea stall set beneath the shade of a flowering tree. A woman sits behind a wooden table, pouring hot milk tea into small clay cups. She smiles and gestures to a low bench beside her. You sit. The tea is sweet, spiced, comforting. The woman doesn't speak much English, but her eyes are kind, and her hands are weathered from work and sun. As you sip, she points to a nearby temple and touches her heart, then gestures upward. Sukha, she says softly, the local word for happiness or well-being, a kind of peace that lives deep in the chest. Bagan is not a city in the modern sense, not bustling or loud. Its people move slowly, as if in tune with something ancient. Time here feels circular, like the turning of a prayer wheel, or the path of the sun across the sky. A local guide joins you, walking alongside with quiet steps. He is young, but his eyes are old. He points to one of the nearby temples with a wide doorway, half collapsed, its bricks covered in moss. This one, he says softly, was built by a king who wanted forgiveness. He had caused much suffering in war, and so he built temples to ease the weight of his actions. Some believe each brick was a prayer, as you continue walking, he tells you more, not in the manner of a lecture, but like a friend speaking some information. Stories of kings and queens, of monks who meditated in caves for years, of Bodhi trees grown from cuttings said to come from the tree under which the Buddha found enlightenment. You pass by the Dhamma Yangyi temple, the largest of all in Bagan. It looms, vast and red, like a sleeping giant. It is said to have been built by a king, haunted by his past, who demanded perfect brickwork, so perfect that if a needle could pass between the stones, the builder would be punished. There's silence between the guide's words, and in that silence there is a comfortable peace between you. You walk on. The path leads through fields where small flowers bloom between ancient stones. A breeze picks up, carrying with it the scent of sun-warmed grass and something floral and faintly smoky. Incense from a distant shrine. Somewhere nearby, you hear a bell, not from a temple this time, but from a hot air balloon crew, preparing for the morning's flight. The sound drifts toward you, like an invitation. The guide stops and nods toward an open field. They are getting ready, he says. It is the best way to see it all, from above. You follow his gaze and see them. The gentle bulges of balloons beginning to fill with warm air. He bows to you, placing his hands together in a gesture of respect and farewell. You thank him, and as you step forward toward the waiting balloon, you feel the wind shift again, soft and full of promise. The sky is calling. The field stretches wide, golden with morning light, dotted with tall grass and the faint shimmer of dew. Several hot air balloons lie across the earth like great sleeping beasts. A few people move quietly among them, checking ropes, adjusting burners, and speaking in hushed voices, as though not to disturb the calm of the plains. You step into the clearing, taking it all in. The gentle motion of silk domes beginning to stir, the faint roar of flames as one of the burners flares to life. That low, powerful whoosh is startling at first, but then oddly soothing. One of the crew greets you with a warm smile and hands you a scarf, light, to keep the morning wind at bay. He gestures toward the nearest basket, where a balloon is up right now. Its colors glinting in the sun. Warm reds, deep oranges, earth tones, natural, quiet, beautiful. As you approach, you notice how much care goes into this ritual. It feels sacred, even though no one says it loud. Every knot is double-checked, every movement deliberate. And beneath it all is a deep respect for the gift of flight and for the land. For ballooning over Bagan is not just sightseeing. It's a kind of prayer, a way of touching the sky in silence. For locals, the practice honors the sacredness of this place. To see the temples from above is to see them from a very special place. You climb into the basket carefully, assisted by gentle hands. It's solid and warm from the rising sun. Inside, there's just enough room to stand comfortably. surrounded by woven walls and a quiet sense of expectation. The pilot, a calm woman with deep laugh lines and soft eyes, nods at you. "Ready when you are," she says. And then, with another breath of flame, the balloon begins to lift. At first, the change is subtle. You barely feel movement, only the shift of weight, the way the world seems to exhale beneath you. Then slowly, gently, the basket rises. The field slips away beneath you, and the sounds of voices and footsteps fade. Up, the basket drifts higher, and from this height, the temples seem endless, scattered across the plain with quiet intention. Each one points skyward, a hand raised in eternal prayer. The Irrawaddy glistens in the distance, winding like a ribbon through the trees. Beyond it, the blue shadows of distant hills, and beyond that, only sky. You grip the edge of the basket lightly, not out of fear, but to ground yourself in wonder. There is no rush of wind, no sensation of speed, just drifting, floating, as if the balloon is not moving at all, but the earth itself is slowly turning beneath you. Pilot says little, sensing the mood, but she does point out a few of the landmarks as you pass above them. That cluster of temples is old Bagan. And there, the outline of a monastery, half lost to time and trees. There is something indescribable about being in a hot air balloon. there is a sense of peace that you cannot feel unless you experience it. And you feel this height not as distance, but as perspective. From here, everything below is softened. The temples, the people, the roads, even your own thoughts feel smaller, quieter, less urgent. You watch them pass like clouds. There is a sense now that you are no longer quite on the ground, nor fully in the sky, suspended between worlds, a space where nothing is asked of you, a space where you can just be. And in that stillness, a kind of joy rises, not bright or sharp, but deep and spacious, like peace itself has found a place to land. The balloon drifts without urgency. And as you look out across the golden plain, there is a hush, not from absence, but from presence. The kind of silence that exists only when everything is exactly where it belongs. You look out and see in the far corners of the plain, farmers begin their day. You see a few monks walk along a path in single file. Their heads are bowed, their steps deliberate. The pilot glances over with a gentle smile. They are collecting alms, she says, each morning. It is a practice of humility, of walking with an empty bowl and receiving what is offered. Rice, fruit, water, whatever is given, they accept without desire. She pauses, letting that idea float in the air a moment. In our way, giving and receiving are part of the same circle, she continues, like breath, like day and night. And now, as the balloon carries you still higher, maybe you begin to feel that this flight is something more than a ride. It is a transition, a lifting not only of body, but of mind. Of all the things you carried up from the earth, thoughts, expectations, weight, so many now feel softened. Here in the sky, you begin to understand the teachings in a new way, not through study or language, but through being. Buddha once taught that to hold tightly is to suffer, that to cling to what is passing, joy, sorrow, identity, is like trying to hold water in a closed fist. But if you let go, if you open the hand, peace flows in naturally, like air. And that is what this moment feels like. An open hand. A surrender not in defeat, but in release. You do not need to be anyone up here. You do not need to become. You already are. The wind shifts gently, and the balloon turns ever so slightly, giving you a new view. A wide curve of the Irrawaddy River, glimmering like a trail of light. You imagine it carrying prayers downstream, all the way to the sea. A heron rises from a marsh below. Its long wings, slow and elegant. You close your eyes now, just for a moment, and you notice the feeling in your body, a loosening, shoulders soft, jaw unknotted, breath low and wide. The pilot glances at the horizon. "We'll begin our descent soon," she says. And though you know that the flight will end, it doesn't feel like a loss, only a return. The earth is waiting, and you open your eyes again, taking in the golden light, the drifting air, the quiet temples watching from below. And somewhere within, you feel it, a sense of calm that will not leave you, a still point around which all things turn, gentle, deep, home.